You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
What's up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN episode 243. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire, Roshan Warner, at Roro.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, indeed. You know, it is good for you to be here because you're the only one here.
Good to be here, unlike other people.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck those guys. And by those guys, I mean Christian Macias, our host of Large Popcorn and video producer at Dual Shockers. He will rejoin us next week. He is enjoying some time with the lady friend. So enjoy that time, Christian.
The missus.
Yes. And, of course, Gage Dempster, Gilbo Biggins. Who knows? He might pop into the stream at some point. We don't know. Only one person knows, and he's probably asleep. So, thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, Ro, is a fully multi-platform future on the way. But before we get there, the show always starts with the quick bites, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I threw this in the housekeeping. I'm not going over this because it's just going to take too long in all of this. But okay. Ryan McCaffrey in our housekeeping, Ryan McCaffrey did a pretty in-depth article on a lot of the stuff we talked about last week, and actually many of the points that he makes in here, and talked to former Xbox people. Many of the things that he said in here and the previous people said in here were things that we all said last week. So, in fact, read Ryan's article, but also just listen to us last week because, we nailed it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Watch our podcast.
Yeah.
Don't read Ryan McCaffrey's. is the short version here.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Don't click on his link. Click on our podcast.
Exactly. All right. Moving into the quick bites for real this time. More layoffs have hit the industry, Ro. It's every freaking week at this point. Yeah.
Enough, please stop it. Oh my god.
Enough is enough.
Who is it this time?
CI Games is the latest to have some layoffs here, and they are the creators of Lords of the Fallen and Sniper Ghost Warrior. They are the publisher, rather. And they laid off 30 more members of its staff, which is less than 4 months after it cut 10% of its workforce. So we got that news, and then we got Square Enix's announcement, which we'll talk about some other things that they talked about a little later in the show. But they announced a layoff purge as well, which Square Enix is laying off U.S. and European employees as part of its company's restructuring. The number of affected people is unknown for right now. Restructuring. Fuck off. Fuck off with that. And then we have a little bit here, which I don't know how much of this has already been reported because this was just in their earnings call, but I felt like we should talk about it just to cover our bases here. Ubisoft released their full 2023-2024 earnings report today, which revealed that Ubisoft has laid off more than 1,700 employees in the past 18 months as part of their cost reduction plan. And, of course, these layoffs helped Ubisoft reduce their costs on their books, I guess, but not good at all for all fronts here for the gaming industry.
Yep. As you said, we've talked about it. It's what feels like every week now. But, yeah. In some senses, we're getting numb to it. In other senses, it's getting really, it's harder to see it be such a recurring trend, I guess. Like we talk about it each week, but yeah, it's a lot.
Indeed. Enough. No more.
Please.
All right. Moving into some lighter news here, Ro. The Joker is officially coming to Multiverses, and it will star Mark Hamill, who will be reprising his role as the Joker, which is so hilarious. Every time I see Mark Hamill coming back as the Joker, I always go back to how he said after Batman Arkham City that was going to be his last role as the Joker, and then he did like numerous other ones. But it's great nonetheless. I love Mark Hamill's Joker. Yeah,
that's cool. I haven't jumped back into multiverses since it has come back. I don't know how that community is doing, but hopefully well. If they're getting new characters and stuff like that, and they're able to hire Mark Hamill for the role, it must be, hopefully it's doing well. But yeah,
absolutely. Some of his moves are really cool too. They kind of harken back to his wacky style. It's really cool. Moving on from there, EA's CEO is saying there's a real hunger to start using generative AI on their games. So apparently they, as quickly as possible, we believe that more than 50% of our development processes will be positively impacted, is a direct quote from him, which I think the issue here is I don't think the AI he's talking about is the AI that maybe developers want. I'm sure developers would love to get some AI tools to like assist them in development and not replace people, which is what it seems like this is.
Yeah, I think that like specifically generative AI, like that one is usually the one that artists don't like very much.
Yeah.
Because of the reasons you said, and it's like kind of replacey more than a tool to help the employees that are already there. So I have to refrain from judgment just yet to see like how the real hunger that he's talking about, like who is the people that are saying that? Probably not the artists, if I had to guess, the people that are actually working on the games right now. But yeah, that's my gut reaction. But we'll see. Maybe there are some artists out there who want that, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I would say you're our resident artist here, so you have the best voice, and you're saying "fuck off, EA."
Please, with this specifically. Well, usually that is what I would be thinking about EA. Yeah, but yeah, definitely the generative AI stuff is not welcome
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Asus has announced a refreshed ROG Ally X handheld PC. Of course, they released the original ROG Ally, but this little refresh is kind of a little bit of a step up. It's not really performance-wise, but they did make some changes here. So essentially, it's going to have the same AMD Z1 Extreme chipset that the original had and the same 7-inch 48 to 120 hertz VRR screen, but it will have newly black coloring instead of, I believe it's white on the original. It will have a substantial battery life improvement, and it will cram a substantially larger battery pack into the revised shell. We're not looking at 30 to 40% more capacity, he says. We're looking at way more than that. Of course, that's the Asus SVP that's saying this. So, I mean, battery life-wise, that's a huge win for people that want to get into the PC handheld market.
Every time I see a new one of these, I think I am like the audience for this. I like handheld gaming, and I would love to play more PC games on the go, but I just can't justify a purchase like this right now with my financial stability in quotes right now. So I just say like, oh, when they make the Steam Deck I'll probably buy the first Steam Deck at a reduced cost and just enjoy it that way, because the games that I want to play aren't that heavy anyway. So, but it is cool that they keep making more of these. That the technology is growing for, like you said, those who are interested in this ecosystem. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that I can't find it in this article, but I'm pretty sure they said that this was going to be more expensive as well. So yeah, not great on that front. Moving on from there, we have news on Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, which I believe is coming out tomorrow or very soon. I believe it's coming out very soon, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows except Ro, who's looking it up right at this very moment.
On PC?
Yes, on PC. Oh. But apparently, Sony has enacted their country restrictions that they had for Helldivers 2 on Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut as well, as they have a massive list of countries that are blocked from purchasing it, which ironically enough, one of the countries is Japan, which I'm like, this is a game based in Japan and it's blocked from being purchased in Japan, and you're a Japanese company.
Oh boy, yeah, that is weird. That is really weird. What is you may have said that, but while I was searching it up, but what's the reason for it being blocked?
That's a good point. I don't know, because I was gonna say because Helldivers 2 had the thing where it's being blocked due to PSN not being available in those areas, but I genuinely have no idea because Japan obviously has PSN.
Yeah. So. I would hope so. But yeah, the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PC comes out tomorrow, the 16th.
Nice.
Well, if you're not in Japan.
If you're not in any of these countries.
Those places. Yeah. That sucks.
That is very confusing. I have no idea. This makes zero sense, and I wish somebody here knew. Maybe someone in the chat knows. You know? I don't know.
Perhaps.
I'm just reporting what I'm seeing here. You know? Yeah. So hopefully they get that squared away, because obviously I hate seeing good games be blocked from certain countries. And Helldivers 2 still blocked in the countries that don't have PSN, which is not great. All right. Moving on. Marvel Rivals developer had to apologize for a contract that didn't allow for creators to criticize the game. What? That's insane. Apparently, there's a non-disparagement clause that was in this contract that said the content creator agrees not to make any public statements or engage in discussions that are detrimental to the reputation of the game. This includes, but is not limited to, making disparaging or satirical comments about any game-related material, such as game features, characters, or music, or engaging in malicious comparisons with competitors or belittling the gameplay or differences of Marvel Rivals, or providing subjective negative reviews of the game. What?
Whoa. This is the thing that the internet always accuses viewers of doing, like, were you paid to say all these nice things, or vice versa? But obviously they weren't paid. But this thing is just something that you don't expect, or that you imagine isn't happening. But it's that's not good. Not a good look at all.
Indeed, not a good look. I don't understand how the like,
just don't provide the, like, I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean, it's not a weird one. Don't do this, but like, if you're going to provide the codes, then you would hope that you're confident enough in the game at that point to let the game speak for itself and the reviewers speak honestly on it. Otherwise, just hold the codes and wait for the game to come out.
Indeed. Yeah. Or just have, like, I guess if they're streaming the game, I was going to say have a non-disclosure, but just like to
Yeah.
not talk about the game in general, not specifically
Right,
about negative,
yeah.
because they're not saying you can't say good things about the game. It's
That's
like,
true.
I don't know. Yeah. Weird.
Weird. Very weird. Have you played it? I haven't touched
I've
it at
not,
all.
no.
Yeah.
I
It looks
think,
interesting.
yeah, I think when we talked about it, I think I was on the outs. I think you guys were like, "This looks kind of cool," and I was like, "I don't know. It wasn't vibing for me for whatever
Yeah.
reason. Their trailer that they showed off. So I don't know. But what we do know is something that Gage would be screaming from the hilltops if he was here. And that is Red Dead Redemption, the original, could be headed to PC, including the well-regarded zombie-themed Undead Nightmare expansion. And wow, Gage isn't here for it. So sorry, Gage. Apparently it was data mined, and people found out this info. So I don't know. Hopefully it's a remaster of some sort and it's not just a straight port, because I don't know how well that will hold up to 2024 standards for that old of a game. But I don't know.
Yeah. I remember Gage talking about like the map that was found in Red Dead Redemption 2 that was like it was a copy of the Red Dead 1 map, I believe. And just like all signs were pointing to like a remake of 1, and then just like it just went silent. And ever so often there would be these hints that, oh, maybe it is coming and this feels like another one, but it probably isn't, which is sad. Just keeping us teasing us.
For sure.
But yeah.
Just dangling the carrot in front of us, like, oh, it's here you go.
It's coming, it's coming. No, not yet.
Yeah. Oh God, that would do so well too. I mean, obviously on PC there's a chance for it to have mods and stuff, so maybe that could make it, a bit better, but I don't know. All right, we've got more PlayStation news. PlayStation has officially announced their new co-CEOs to replace, of course, Jim Ryan, our single leader. Goodbye, Jim. We won't miss you. PlayStation has named Herman Holst and Hideki Nishino as its new CEOs. Holst is going to be the CEO of the newly named Studio Business Group, which includes all of PlayStation's first-party teams, plus covers the development of PlayStation IP onto other mediums such as TV and film. Hideki Nishino will lead the Platform Business Group, which includes console hardware, technology, accessories, PlayStation Network, and third-party relations, covering major publishers and indie studios. Of course, Herman, many people know from Guerrilla. He was head of Guerrilla for a long time and then moved over to PlayStation's first-party team. So, yeah, this is kind of a similar story to Phil Spencer with Xbox moving up the ranks. Similar story here with Herman moving up the ranks.
Yeah. I think, of course, we have to wait and see how PlayStation looks underneath these two, but I think it's good that Herman is one of the two because, like you said, he was from Guerrilla. He has that background in games, similar to how Neil Druckmann moved up the ranks, like from a programmer to like head of Naughty Dog and all that stuff. I like that transition because it usually tells me that they understand games and they'll hopefully make good decisions on behalf of the studio most of the time. Not all the time. It does not also always work out that way. But my gut reaction is that, oh, this was a good choice as opposed to someone else. And the fact that they have two CEOs is also always doesn't always work out. But in my head, it's like, oh, two heads are better than one. At least they can bounce ideas off of each other. And it's not just one person says something and that's the end all be all. Yeah.
True. Yes. Hopefully they have a very good synergy together and are on the same page. Yeah. But we have a request row from the chat, and that is, of course, Christian Macias in the chat telling me to go back to the Marvel Rivals story because I didn't really understand what he was telling me. He just wrote BBL Drizzy, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And then he said it's one of the banned phrases, like BAND, and I'm like, what does that mean? I don't. But I did
like
right now. I get what he meant, but I didn't realize it while we were talking. But now I understand. Okay. So these are some of the banned phrases from the Marvel Rival story: bootleg Overwatch, Foxverwatch, mid as fuck. It's abbreviated AF. Even Paladins is better than this trash. Hulk got no ass. Ain't this the studio that made Diablo immortal? Minecraft China. And BBL Drizzy.
Huh.
Incredible.
Okay. That is incredible, actually. So these are like text box stuff that if you were to type it in, you would just like say message deleted or something like that, or you get banned, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess they want to stop their creators from saying these things.
That is actually wild.
Yeah, that's yeah. What does BBL Drizzy even mean? Like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
Brazilian butt lift, Drizzy. Drizzy is, I could be wrong, but isn't that is that Drake?
Oh,
is that rapper. There's a Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef going on right now. He was accused of getting a BBL. I don't know if that's that's true. I did not fact check that, but BBL is definitely Brazilian butt lift for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Which is just so random. Drizzy is Drake, but that's so random to just why ban that?
Yeah.
I can't say BBL. Can I say BBL Kendrick? Can I say BBL Roro? Like, that's so weird. That's so weird.
Can I say BBL Marvel Rivals?
Exactly.
I mean,
that's potentially worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's strange. That's very strange.
Incredible. This world continues to amaze me. It's awesome. All right. Moving on, Super Mario 64 players have opened a door that was previously unopenable. And how did he do this? He didn't do it with hacks. He didn't do it with cheats. So how did he do it? So essentially, this person walked players through the struggles presented by the legendary door and how he managed to bypass them. While players have been able to use Mother Penguin to make Mario clip through the invisible wall and near the door, they've never been actually able to use the door itself to enter the cabin. The new method still guides the penguin up against the cabin while backflipping in between the bluebird and the building, just as others have done before. What they changed, though, is Mario's animation just as he comes into contact with the door's hitbox. There's no floor on the other side of the invisible wall that blocks the entrance. And unfortunately for our plumber friend, he needs to be walking when opening a door. He tricks the game by turning Mario around just before he falls, allowing him to briefly walk in midair long enough to use the door. The player can levitate for 1 frame when triggering Mario's turnaround animation, so even though Mario continues to fall through the floor, the door opens and sends Mario back inside the cabin. Voila. Incredible. The amount of dedication it takes to fucking figure this out. Many applauds.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's always, this is a completely different type of figuring something out, but it's always so interesting to see somebody like years later find something in the game that's been out for this long. Like it reminds me of how Breath of the Wild people are always figuring something out in that world or finding something new to like new tricks and stuff to find in that game. Obviously this is something completely different, but it's always interesting to look at how players approach a game that's again been out for years at this point, where you think that everything's been discovered.
Yeah, that's insane. That's
somebody beat Tetris. Like, how do you beat Tetris?
Right. It never ends.
But somebody did it.
It crashed, I guess.
Yeah.
It got so high. All right. Moving to our next story here. Tomb Raider is getting a live action series that has been greenlit for Prime Video, coming from Phoebe Waller-Bridge, set to write and executive produce the show. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. I am not a OG Tomb Raider fan, but I am definitely a new school Tomb Raider fan. I really like the Square Enix reboot. And this is not me saying that I'm not a fan of the old ones. I just haven't played the old ones, so I don't know if they're good or not good. So that's not me digging at the old OGs. This is just me saying that I like the new ones. And I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I loved Fleabag. I don't think I've witnessed anything that she's written herself, unless Fleabag is written by her. I don't believe it is, but maybe. But yeah, I love her as an actor, so I'm interested to see how this turns out. And so far, Amazon has done pretty good when it comes to adaptations, I believe. Like, everybody likes Fallout, but Invincible, I loved. There's some other stuff in there too that I'm forgetting. But they've done well. They've done well so far in comparison to the others, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Like you, I didn't have a ton of experience with the original Tomb Raider series, like trilogy or whatever the hell it is, however many there is. But yeah, the reboots really captured my attention as well, with Crystal making some cool stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they turn this to a show format and see what they can do. Yeah, Angelina Jolie. She was great, Tomb Raider. I'll fight you for it, you know? Anyways.
The Boys was another one.
Yes.
They did from the comics.
True. Yeah, The Boys is great. I love The Boy. Good stuff. What else is good, Ro, from Prime? Fallout series on Prime has officially reached 80 million viewers to date. That deserves a fucking let's go.
Let's go.
Nice. Nice. Somebody clip that. Excited for season 2. Let's go. All right. Final quick bite. A final patch has officially been announced for Hi-Fi Rush, which has been released today. They post on Twitter. Check out the changes in our final update. Thanks for all your support and keep on rocking. Sad. We will miss Tango.
Very sad. Yeah. God, I'm so sad. I'm still mad about it, honestly. Yeah. I saw that they might be doing like a limited run physical edition with, a physical run run with limited run games where they release a physical version of the game. And I think it might be my first limited run purchase, man. Like, I really love this game, and who knows in the future when, like 10 years down the line, or hopefully not less, when the game is like removed from like digital storefronts and stuff like that. Like, that's just gone. That's just gone for some people. So I definitely want to have a physical version of it. Just to have, just in case if I have an Xbox lying around someday, I can play it.
We are synonymous with that, and I think we both love this game, and we fought everyone on the podcast for this game, so it's only fitting we're here talking about it. And Ro, the entire time you were talking, Hi-Fi Rush is the game that's being shown in our background on the video reel, which the timing of that is just fucking insane. I mean, that's just fate. That's fate.
Perfect.
Very cool.
He's here, baby.
Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah. I love that game, and I hope all the people at Tango land on their feet so they can make more cool stuff.
Agreed. All right. Let's run over some street meat here, Ro. Dragon Age Dreadwolf may finally be coming out this year. Apparently, EA is reportedly ready to finally release it this financial year, according to a recent Eurogamer article. This is from IGN. We have 2 unannounced titles in fiscal year 25, 1 partner title expected in Q4, and 1 owned IP title. EA said in an earnings slide, we expect to provide more details on timing at a later date. So this game's been in development for literally forever. So I hope BioWare's got something good with this game, because otherwise they're going to be on a tear of not so great games.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah, I hope for their sake that it's good as well. I'm not a. Besides, no, yeah, I'm not a huge. I haven't played a lot of any of the Mass Effect games still. I know they're good, but I need to change that.
Yeah.
And the last game that I played from them was Anthem, which I did enjoy. I know it's not great, but the gameplay itself I enjoyed. But there was a lot wrong with it. I can absolutely admit that. But yeah, it sucks that was the last the last game that I think they released, isn't it? Is that the last thing that they made besides the collection of Mass Effect games?
Yes, which I don't think BioWare made directly. I think that was outsourced, I believe. So yeah, Anthem was the last one, right?
The last thing. Yeah, so hopefully this is good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, and Mass Effect Andromeda before that, which
yeah.
And I guess it wasn't fair for me to say not so great games. I think those games, or at least Andromeda, reviewed decent. It was like high 6, low 7s, but not a BioWare game.
Right. Yeah. Anthem did not, I don't think, suffer the same low 6s or low 60s. I think it was lower than that, if I remember correctly, but I don't know.
Yep, it was Anthem was low 60s and Andromeda I think was low 70s, I think. So yeah, they definitely
Metacritic has as a 59.
What is it?
On Metacritic it's at a 59, the Anthem.
Oh. Jeez.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Let's turn it around. Dreadwolf.
Please.
All right. Our final street meet here. There's more Doom rumors coming out. There's rumors that a new Doom game is on the horizon, thanks to a new trademark filing and a number of other hints. A little intriguing here. The pending U.S. trademark filed by ZeniMax, of course owned by Microsoft, is for a project called IDKFA. Longtime fans of developer id will recognize the string of letters as a famous cheat code for the original Doom that grants players access to all in-game weapons and keys with full ammo and armor. To be clear, IGN says, it's possible the trademark isn't related to a new Doom game, but there are a few reasons to hold out hope that a fresh installment may be soon announced. Microsoft has already announced their event for June 9th. And there were also the leaked court documents that showed Doom Year Zero listed as a upcoming game. So it's pretty likely to put all the pieces together that we're going to get a look at the next Doom game in June. Next month,
yeah. Only 2 weeks or so away from next month. Yeah, that's cool. I'm interested. I only played the 2016. I didn't play Eternal.
Oh.
I didn't play Eternal.
Eternal was also great.
Yeah, I've heard. But 2016 was really fun. I like that. So I'm down for more Dune or Doom. Not Dune, very different.
Dune X Doom.
Yeah. Does take place on a red planet though.
True. Yeah. A lot more ripping of heads off though in Doom.
Yes. A lot more violent, yeah.
All right. Moving down the list here. Brenty, thank you for your legend. You're a legend around these parts. We love you. PXN News of the Week row. Here we go. I only put one in here because I didn't know what else to put in here. Here we are. So I know you're just like cursing my name right now because you're not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, but here we are. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been officially revealed, formerly called Assassin's Creed Red. It was the code name. And it is coming November 15th. Of course, this is the Assassin's Creed game taking place in feudal Japan. There is a ton of info in the second link from IGN. So if you want to get more in depth with details, go to IGN's link. They have a lot of stuff there. but I'm going to go over Shinobi's little summary because he had a really great summary on Twitter, and I say little, but there's a lot here. So definitely follow Shinobi602. He always has a lot of cool details and insights. So very cool. So jumping into the details here, Ro. It is new gen only, so PS5, Series X, and PC, which is interesting that he doesn't say Series S. I don't know if that's just an accident. Interesting. On an updated Anvil engine, which is, of course, their proprietary engine for Assassin's Creed. It takes place in feudal Japan in the year 1579 during the Asuki Momoyama period. I totally didn't butcher that. 100% got that right.
Asuchi Momoyama.
Thank you. You said that way better than I did. The time period sees a range of activity, including Portuguese merchants, legions of samurai, shinobi, Jesuit missionaries, etc. It's going to be a large open world as big as Assassin's Creed Origins. So back to the, RPG Assassin's Creed games, which we knew. You'll play as two protagonists, Yasuke and Naoe. Hope that's right.
Yusuke and maybe Naoe is right, but I think Yusuke is the
Yusuke. Okay.
Or Yusuke. You could be right. I don't know.
Okay.
But he is based off an actual person.
That's true. That is true. And let me just go to that point. Yasuke is a real historical figure who was brought to Japan by a Jesuit missionary and then became a samurai and served Oda Nobunaga. My God, I can't. Yeah.
Nobunaga.
Yes. Which is very cool that they're leaning into the historical elements once again. For that kind of stuff. There are set personal quests where you play as one or the other, but you can freely switch between both in the open world and during other objectives. Naoe is an agile shinobi who likes stealth but knows how to fight, can use a grappling hook to traverse the environments, and has physics based so it can be improbable. Yusuke's fighting style is more head-on direct combat with parries, breaking enemy armor plates, decapitation finishers, etc. Okay, let's go with the decapitations. Naoe uses a, oh my God, Kusari Gama? Is that right? Kusari Gama?
I'm trying to find it.
I probably can't even say it. Kusarigama?
Sure. Let's go with it. Let's go.
I'm gonna search that up. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. And it is. It's a chain that can whip around and keep enemies at bay. A little chain.
These are cool.
Hell
There's
yeah.
an anime called Soul Eater, and a character named Blackstar uses one of these, and they're really cool.
Hell yeah. Like you swing it around like a melee weapon, I'm assuming, or like.
Yeah, you could use it as I think they connect. Like or they can connect in between. Or you can like swing them around like nunchucks kind of, but it has a blade at the end of it, which is really cool.
Hell yeah. That does sound cool. The team also pushed more on destructibility and sliceable objects, which is very cool, with damage realistically replicated from sword slices, arrow puncture marks, etc. Very cool. Very fitting for the feudal Japan setting. Enemies can now be knocked out if the player wants a more pacifist playthrough. That's cool. Players can now go prone to sneak around. That's never been a thing in Assassin's Creed games, so that's interesting. A little more of a stealth element there. Fully dynamic lighting system illuminated by sunlight, torches, lanterns, etc. Which, just to stop there for a second and go to Ryan McCaffrey's comment, because this piggybacks directly off of that. Ryan posted how he was excited about this as well, and as soon as he posted about this, I was like, "Oh yeah!" So the stealth elements, includes destroying lanterns or killing torch carriers to create darkness, which then you can hide in the shadows, kind of like a la Splinter Cell. A light meter on the UI shows how well concealed you are, and you can essentially just sneak around for your different encounters, like you're playing a Splinter Cell game, which, oh my god, that sounds awesome. The game progresses through the 4 different seasons, not springs, the 4 different seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, in case you didn't know what the 4 seasons were. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. The game progresses through the 4 different seasons. Wait, I just said that. I'm literally repeating the thing that I just made a joke about being obvious.
That's to hammer it home.
Yeah,
4
just
seasons.
4 seasons.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Incredible. Each season brings with it environment and gameplay changes. For example, you can crawl prone underwater in a pond during the summer, whereas that pond will be frozen over in the winter. That's cool. Change up the gameplay in the same areas. That's cool. More examples of that. Grass grows tall in the spring, perfect for hiding, while it dies off in the fall, removing those hiding spots. Hanging icicles on buildings can snap and fall off, revealing your location during the winter. Can I snap the icicles off and stab people with them? Like, yeah.
Or make them fall on the guy's head.
Yeah. Of course, this next point is what we just talked about hiding in the shadows to escape enemies and take out light sources to evade detection. Love that. Create a customizable hideout where you can grow and train your own Shinobi League, craft new gear, interact with other characters, and choose your base's layouts, decorations, and accessories. So, like, make your home base. Very cool. There are huge castles that act as significant landmarks throughout the open world that act as dungeons and their own big levels. They also wanted to be a little more open with how you complete objectives and can tackle assassination targets in any order. There are no more synchronization points that reveal all the points of interest on the map. Instead, they act as high vantage points that let you look and discover them for yourself. That's interesting. That's kind of been a staple of Assassin's Creed for a long time. Basically, that's the Ubisoft formula of climb the tower and reveal the area, but it's kind of a cool twist on it to, be less hand-holdy.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Excited?
I'm very excited. All the stealth elements that they're talking about adding here, like, as a huge Splinter Cell fan, that makes me excited. And I always try the stealth approach in Assassin's Creed anyways, but, like, most of the games, especially recent games, there's not really a whole lot of stealth elements incorporated anymore. So the fact that they're getting back to this is really cool to me. I'm very stoked to try those new stealth mechanics out. Yeah, this has me very interested. I want to see some gameplay because obviously we just got a CG trailer. The CG trailer looked great, but it's a CG trailer. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah. I'm glad. I got nothing.
That's fair.
I've wanted. Maybe I've wanted is not the right word, but I've tried to get into the Assassin's Creed game. I can't. And this would be the one that would potentially win me over. So I would have to wait for gameplay as well to completely count it out. But I think I've said that before for many Assassin's Creed, and when the gameplay comes out, I'm like, I think I'll still pass. It still looks like too much of what I've experienced in before, and those just don't click with me. And that's not just Assassin's Creed games, it's kind of Ubisoft games in general.
Yes.
They don't usually speak to me as much. Like Watch Dogs 2 is an exception. Most of the time I just don't like them that much. But again, Japan, that setting sounds cool. The weapons that the characters are going to be using, All of it sounds cool on paper. So if it does look as cool as it sounds in gameplay, like maybe I'll check it out. Maybe it'll be one of the exceptions on the Ubisoft list for me.
Yeah, but that's a totally valid point because a lot of Ubisoft's games are so samey, like they're copy and pasted almost.
Yeah.
So hopefully this seems like it's a bit more divergent than previous games. So maybe they'll actually follow through with that. We'll see. But yeah, for now, I'm optimistic. Heck yeah. All right. Moving into our fantasy draft check-in. We do not have any new pickups. And did we get any releases yet? We got... Wait, how does that work? How does that work?
Which one? Are you looking at Hades too?
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to get any of the points.
Right, because it's not officially released.
But he would have gotten 20 points.
The game has received reviews in early access, but will not reach 1.0 at least through the end of 2024. You will only receive points if your league uses only needs score. Okay. Yeah. So I should be good with my counter pick because I counterpicked it thinking that 1.0 wouldn't release this year.
Right. So you're not going to lose 20 points. Basically.
Right.
You're just not going to get any either.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's a safe one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is what that's always what I hope for. Yeah, for counter picks is 0. And of course, I have South of Midnight also counterpicked from him because I don't think that game's coming out this year either. So we'll see. We'll see. Did we have any other game release, Ro? I don't think so.
I don't think anything released yet, but tomorrow Christian's Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is coming out.
Of course.
He drafted that, and I won't spoil it, but I'm sure he'll talk about it next week when he's on the show, what he thinks about it. But I believe, I think he's going to be playing it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't, yeah.
Lorelei. Yes. The interesting thing here, Ro, I'm looking at my list. For some reason, No Rest for the Wicked has a score of 73, and that game's in early access also. So I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. I don't know. Anyways, not getting me a whole lot of points, even if it does give me the point. Yes, we have some games upcoming though. Lorelei, of course, you mentioned, but also Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, also for Christian, coming May 21st, very soon. And then we've got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake coming for ODST Publishing. That is me, of course, on May 23rd, which is next Thursday. Please be excited. And then to round out the year, we've got Nine Souls coming on the 29th and F1 24 coming on the 31st. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's move into what you got for me, Ro. I will just talk about Orcs Must Die 3 again because that game is so much fun. Like, Gage made me play it one night, and I literally was like, Gage, I don't want to download another dumb game that's going to be dumb. Like, literally, this is going to be so stupid. So I was like, I'm just going to boot it up in cloud gaming. So I booted it up using the cloud gaming service because I didn't even want to download it, even though it was only like a 2 gig download.
I'm not giving your gigabytes to this trash.
Exactly. And then I played it and I was like, all right, this is actually really fun. And then I ended up downloading it and actually, getting the full experience. But we've still been playing it on and off, and I've been playing it on and off myself as well. And that is so much fun. I love tower defense games, and that's what it is. And it's very well done. Just the amount of shit you can do. You can, basically, you're trying to limit the amount of enemies you're trying to fight at one time. So, you're trying to get them into these tight passageways to, funnel them into this tight corridor to kill them easier and put your traps down. And it's so much fun. So much fun.
Did you ever play Balloon Defense? Tower Defense? Balloon Tower Defense?
I don't
It
think
was a
so.
flash game for like browsers.
I don't.
When we might have been in elementary school.
Oh, no.
No?
I don't think so. No.
It's a very popular tower defense game that like all the kids were playing back in elementary school. But that was the only tower defense game that I played, but I enjoyed it. So maybe I would enjoy this. And actually fully realized tower defense game and not just something that I played on coolmathgames.com.
That's that's a cool callback to remember that. That's fucking awesome. I played I can't even remember the name of it, but I played one on like one of my really old phones before phones like really got popular with like apps and that kind of stuff, and it was really fun. I can't even remember what it was called, but Kirik says that he's here, and also did I mention I picked up a PlayStation Portal, and guess what? It's awesome. Playing Sea of Stars on it. So good. Very
Sea
cool.
of Stars too, nice.
We asked who the PlayStation Portal was for, and here he is, Kirik. Ro, what you got for me?
I actually played a game this time, and it's a little indie called 1000s Resist. And it is an indie game by, let me see if I could find the developer real quick. But it's basically like a narrative adventure, sort of a visual novel-esque type game, and it's like a sci-fi story as well. So it takes place in the. I don't want to spoil too much because, like, even how early on I am, I feel like a lot has happened, and also not a lot has happened. It's very, I guess, obtuse, but in a good way, where I'm still trying to figure out what's going on in this world. But in the distant future, there's like a disease that hits the world, and it was caused by an alien. So right now, you are a clone, I believe, of one of the people that was able to survive the disease. And there's like people are worshiping this person, and you're just slowly unraveling who this person is as one of her clones. And you're starting to learn that she's not all that she chalked up to be, and why is she the only one who gets to be immune while everybody else dies. But yeah, again, I'm still pretty early on. I am enjoying it so far. I like the art style, and people who have finished it and that are farther than me have said it's like game of the year contender.
Oh wow,
the story is incredible, and from what I've seen so far, I'm enjoying it, but I haven't reached to that level of praise of it yet. But I'm excited to see what everybody's been raving about, because so far it's good, but not that good yet. So I'm expecting a twist to happen sometime where I just my socks are blown off. But it's a good story so far. Like, it's intriguing me, keeping me hooked so far.
Oh yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, pretty interesting. And it's on Steam, and I think it's on Switch too.
Nice. Switch it up.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh, and the developer was Fellow Traveler.
Oh.
Or the developer is Sunset Visitor, and the publisher is Fellow Traveler.
Sunset Visitor?
Yeah, I think this is their first game.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a cool studio name. Sunset Visitor. All right, bro. Moving into the topic of the show, we're talking about, is a fully multi-platform future on the way? Is that in our future? I don't. Interesting. We've got some stories here, though, first, that go kind of hand in hand with it that I wanted to touch on here. The first one came out of the god-awful, can I say that, interview by Sarah Bond, where she was talking about Xbox and all of that, and quite honestly made me very concerned about if Xbox makes a change and she's the one that replaces Phil Spencer, because some of the comments she was making, I was just like, you're kind of being tone deaf in what everything that just happened, you're not addressing anything. Like, I don't know, but that's a whole separate issue, I guess. I don't know. But she said that the Xbox mobile storefront is coming soon in June, I believe, or I'm sorry, in July, and it's going to start with deals on in-game items and game discovery rather than a full store. This is a web-based store, and it is the first step in our journey to building a trusted app store with its roots in gaming. So I guess this is their first foray into creating a mobile app store competitor. Is this a good thing? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. You would hope it would be a good thing, like having more easier access to their games on more platforms, but
yeah, more competition, I guess, for the other app stores.
That too.
But I don't know. It is interesting because it does seem to continue to expand Microsoft's, want to go multi-platform with many of their games. And, going to mobile is one of those places that I feel like is going to start to boom even more the more we get into like native games on these devices. Like, we've gotten Assassin's Creed Mirage now on iOS. We've gotten other games that have released natively on iOS, and like as time goes on, I think that's going to start to become more normal because of how high powered these devices are becoming and how many people own these devices compared to like game consoles. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
It would be. There was definitely a time where I would be all for it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Definitely, I think we both would share the sentiment that it needs to have some kind of physical way to interact with it, because like touchscreen doesn't really work for a lot of the games we love and play.
Yeah.
So, we did also, I started hearing this in my Halo circles that there were two titles or two IDs that were being shared around for the Halo sphere, that there might be two Halo projects on the way soon-ish. And one of those may be Halo 5 for PC. Apparently, Halo 5 Guardians started appearing in some people's Xbox library for PC, indicating maybe we're getting a PC port for Halo 5. That would be interesting. I think it would be important in terms of having all of the games on PC, although campaign of Halo 5, not good. The multiplayer for Halo 5 is still, in my opinion, one of the best of the series, but the campaign was bad. So, I don't know. But again, this continues showing Microsoft wanting to expand their titles to as many platforms as they can. And if Halo 5 being on PC adds to that and is relatively easy to get it there, it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Even if it's bad, it's still good,
right?
Like putting that game there.
And that's yeah, that's a really good point, because that's something that me and Gage kind of disagree on, or I guess not disagree on, but we have different viewpoints on, because like Halo 5's campaign objectively I think is a bad campaign, but I think it had some very good ideas in it. Like I think that I think the actual structure of the missions and all of that stuff was fun. I think the squad mechanics were fun. I think the story was a mess, but there were moments of the story that I really loved. So it's like sometimes like I'd like to, pull out the good things and see like the good things because like that's what I enjoy. Like, yes, I loved this part. I'm pulling the parts that I loved out of it to talk about those things. Not to say that this was a great experience, but like these are the things that I loved about it. So there are, some things in Halo 5's campaign that I loved. So, but kind of pivoting a little bit from there, going to Sony's side of things, we're starting to see some interesting things here on the Sony front. So, here's what's interesting about fucking like all of the things we see from all the different media platforms. So I saw that IGN posted a thing that year to date, fucking these terms, year to date, PS5 has outsold any other year that it's been on the market. However, not year to date. I just did the wrong term. Year over year, so the past year, 12 months from now, it's had the best 12 months that it's ever had for PS5. And I saw that on IGN and I was like, holy shit, they're doing really well. And then literally not even a little bit later, I saw Tom Warren post this, which is Sony's PS5 sales are actually down 29% year over year for the last quarter. So the last 3 months, it's so goddamn confusing. We can't fucking just speak normally about these things. But apparently it's down 29% in the last quarter, the most recent quarter. Sony also said that it sold 20.8 million PS5 consoles for its full 2023 fiscal year, which is a slight miss on its revised target of 21 million units. Of course, that was down from, I want to say 24 million that they originally targeted. But Sony now expects PS5 sales to decline to 18 million over the fiscal year 24 year. So I guess I was bringing this in as a bit of a starting point in terms of Sony, starting to realize, and I think everyone's starting to realize that the console market, I just don't think has the continuous growth that these companies are looking for. It's not a business that's going to keep continuing to grow and grow and grow. It's kind of getting to the point where it's, flatlined and where you've kind of maximized the amount of people that are willing to buy these platforms, I guess. And there's so many more people wanting to build PCs now. I literally hear from so many more people now that buy or build PCs that I never heard back in the days, early days of 360 and PS3, PS4, etc.
Yeah, and those people have access to, to everything. Not on record.
Yeah.
It's everything. And the consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, the games aren't coming as fast as they used to either. So the reason that people are buying these consoles is it's there at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the people that didn't buy it at the beginning aren't seeing more and more reasons as time goes on. The same reasons that people bought it at the beginning are still the same reasons people are buying it now. If that makes sense.
Yep.
There are not a lot of new reasons that would reignite someone's oh yeah, I should get a PS5 because the games aren't coming as fast as they used to. So and PlayStation, as part of their strategy, I'm not expecting them to tell us everything, hasn't said much about what is coming in the coming years either. So we're kind of in the dark. So people who haven't bought a PS5 aren't expecting to. I don't know. There's not a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Hype, I guess, is the lamest term I could use right now. For the upcoming season of PS5 right now, that would require them for the sales to be going up right now.
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting, and indicative of the dude that took over for Jim Ryan in the interim. I can't remember his name for Sony, but he was making statements essentially saying yeah, we want the ability for us to put our games on more platforms for us to make more money, essentially, is what he was saying. And like, that's almost the exact same thing that we were hearing from Microsoft CEO, that Satya Nadella, that was saying, yes, we want our games to be everywhere. Like, we want to make sure we get these games in everyone's hands, no matter what platform, what device you're on. Like, and so now it's like starting to get to the point, like, where are we actually going to see like a multi-platform future now, where PlayStation and Xbox are just publishers, and everybody's releasing on PC, or everyone's releasing on everyone else's platforms, or I guess, and the only exception to that may be Nintendo. Like, Nintendo seems to be doing just fine.
Do you think that would? Yeah, they seem to be doing just fine, just chugging along. With that being said, I'd love for Nintendo to just publish everywhere. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool, yeah.
But do you think like that would make them more money? Would it not? Like, they wouldn't have to worry about manufacturing consoles and keeping up that cost and the loss of them. They just make games, sell those games, and hopefully those games sell well. But I feel like cutting out the console cost would save them a lot of money and potentially make them more. I don't know if we're there. Probably not there yet, but
right.
I can see them looking at that and be like, yeah, maybe we should just make the games now. Which is a crazy thought, honestly.
And I think especially like Microsoft looking at that and saying, like, we're now being, I can't remember who posted this, forgive me, but I did see this, that in the last like couple of months, apparently Xbox is being outsold 5-1 now in the last couple of months for console sales. And so if Microsoft's sitting back looking at that, they're like, why wouldn't we just become a publisher and just release our games everywhere? Because at this point, like, there's no gaining traction anymore. And like, to a certain extent, I think I agree with their logic in wanting their games to go to PC and wanting their games to go as many places as they can, because a lot of people talk about the turning point for Xbox being the Xbox One generation, and the Xbox One generation majorly fumbled the introduction to that console, and that generation is the generation where most people bought games, or a lot of people bought games exclusively digitally and were just downloading their games. So when you already have someone who's got a library of, let's just say, 150 games on that ecosystem, that's going to take a hell of a lot of convincing to get them to drop that platform and that service, to basically just say goodbye to those games, to go to the competing platform. So like, that generation might go down as like one of the most important generations in terms of the hardware sales that video games has ever seen.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah.
It's just, it's mind-blowing, actually. But continuing on the Sony train, Sony also has said that PlayStation's focus has shifted from game sales to actual playtime. They want to improve profits via player investment into the PlayStation ecosystem. Again, very similar sentiments to what Microsoft was talking about in terms of getting people into Game Pass. This is very much saying, like, we want people to engage with our games and continue engaging with our games so that we can keep making money from these games, which part of that is live service, which I don't know. Obviously, Jim Ryan wanted as many of those as possible. I don't know if that's good or bad.
That does everything that from that sentence sounds like we need more live service games,
right?
Which scares me a little bit, but it could also mean updating single player games and making those last a little bit longer, like DLCs and expansions and stuff like that. So that could be an option too. That's the option that I hope they go with.
Or even like Helldivers, for instance, that has a really good monetization practice. I think we agree.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I think I think I would love to see them revisit old IPs. That's not like going to make them money. I understand that, but like they've got so many. They have such a not Nintendo level, but they have some like some cool guys that they haven't revisited in a while that could help keep people invested in their ecosystem if they have more characters to interact with and to keep people interested, I guess. Like Sly Cooper could come back. That could be cool. Jack and Daxter.
Bring back all the old IPs.
Yeah.
Why not? And then the last bit of PlayStation news on this front here. God of War Ragnarok is apparently the next PlayStation game to launch on PC, and that is according to a brand new report. Apparently, so I think this might be one of the quickest turnarounds, I feel like, because that game came out in like fall 2022 and feels like it's pretty close to being to coming out, but I think, yeah, I don't know. Reliable PlayStation Store leaker Bill Kuhn, writing for D Labs, claimed Sony Santa Monica's hugely popular action game will soon land on PC, although they failed to offer a release date. Announcement is set for sometime in May. So I guess we'll be hearing about this very soon, and this is a great game. So make sure you buy this if you have not played it yet. But again, continuing to get PlayStation games on PC is always a good thing.
Definitely. And like you said, this is the fastest one. It seems to be the fastest turnaround yet. So they're getting quicker with releasing the games on there, which means the wait is shorter, which means they potentially do see a future in this, wanting to get games on here, and it seems to be working for them. So the fact that we're waiting a shorter amount of time rather than a longer amount of time means that I think it's working well for them.
Yeah.
They don't mind cutting into that potential double dipping between the console and PC.
For sure.
Or not double dipping, rather. People missing out on the console
PlayStation.
version.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. The last wrench I want to throw in here, Ro, because this story threw me for a loop initially, and I'm like, all right, because Square Enix has announced a new multi-platform business plan that will include Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs. So we have a third-party developer or publisher announcing that they're going multi-platform. You're already a third-party publisher. Why weren't you multi-platform before? Like,
that's true.
Like one of the comments below, which I got a little chuckle out of, he says, Square Enix has gone third-party. It's like, yeah, it's just goofy because it's like you're a third-party publisher. I don't understand. I guess because they made so many first-party deals, like, you know, specifically with Sony with Final Fantasy, that they pigeonholed themselves into being that. And I do think it makes more sense for them to release everywhere, because why would you not? Like, if you're you know, a developer working at Square Enix, you got to be like, I'd rather have my game available on as many platforms as possible, because we don't want to lose our jobs tomorrow when this game doesn't hit the sales targets that you guys are giving us.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I'm happy for them. That's I think this is good for us and them.
For sure.
Be available on more platforms, and hopefully they don't have crazy expectations anymore. They just faced some layoffs recently as well, as we talked about earlier. But yeah, like Final Fantasy 16 didn't meet their expectations apparently. As I remember that was one of our stories. So hopefully hopefully that will change that. Hopefully this doesn't make it worse, because maybe it makes it worse because they have to sell in more places and expectations might be higher. So who knows? But for the gamer, the consumer, this is definitely good news that they potentially won't be exclusive Final Fantasy games in the future. Nintendo is another place that they like to publish, like Octopath Traveler was like a timed exclusive, I believe.
That's true.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be no more.
Square Enix famously saying that the Tomb Raider reboot was not up to their expectations, and it sold like 5 million copies or something absurd.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Only sold. I wish I could sell 5 million of something that costs $60, now 70.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Incredible. So I guess now that we've gone through all that road, we can now finally answer the question: is a fully multi-platform future on the way?
Can we?
No, we can't. We can't. I feel like every time it's my host, I put a question that it's just like, I don't know, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, I could say that I would love that future to happen. That would be cool. I do think the different consoles like Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, it's definitely like it's been fun to console wars aren't fun, but it's cool to be part of like a community in a weird way. Like, oh, I've got the PlayStation. What do you got? I've got the Xbox, and that going away would be kind of sad. Like that would be definitely an end of an era, obviously, in a big way. In the gaming space, if like consoles were to just stop being made, and then, but I guess we could find a new community with like, oh, PlayStation games are this and Xbox games are that. But I think in the end, those games being able to be played anywhere by anyone, it would be huge. Like that just cuts out such a big price point. Like barrier to entry is the wrong word, which is what I was going to use, because I think the barrier to entry is super low now, but it still costs an arm and a leg sometimes to get access to the games.
And I think
so I think that'd be cool.
And I think you would lose out on like some of the unique features of some of the consoles, like the Switch. Obviously, its unique feature is the portability factor, and previous Nintendo consoles, the Wii was unique for the motion controls, and PSVR, and despite them not supporting it, it's still a very cool, different experience that you get on there. And like, I just feel like, we'll miss out on that kind of stuff, and it's always super fun. I'm sure I don't want to speak for you, but for me, when I open a new console, it's just like the most exciting feeling. You're opening up for the first time, and you're like, oh, this is so awesome to get like this new hardware that was made for this thing that I love.
Definitely. Yeah, I love like opening up the PS Vita, and we talked about gimmicks, like they did not support the back touchpad and all the gimmicks that went along with that. But when you first opened it, and he's like, oh man, they're going to do some really cool stuff with this, and then they didn't. But yeah, stuff like opening up consoles for the first time is always super exciting for sure, and that going away would be sad. But like we said, they don't usually take advantage of those gimmicks that they make the consoles for that much. Like they do it for the first year or so, maybe 2, and then they like, okay, that was fun. No, let's just make normal games.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like definitely two sides to that.
For sure. It can definitely be distracting for developers too. Like, we're looking at Uconnect, like requiring Connect to be integrated somehow. Like, oh, Connect, can you do this for me? I can't remember what game it was, but I want to say it was like Splinter Cell or something. You could yell at Connect like, hey you, and like the enemies would hear you. Like, I'm like, all right, this is getting a little ridiculous. But I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. The world may never know. We would have had an answer for you today if Gage was here, because he would have answered for us.
Yep. You would have known.
Yeah.
You would have known.
Unfortunately, you won't know now. All right. Anything else before we close out the show, Ro, on this multi-platform future we have?
No. I would love to play the next 3D Mario game on my place or on my PC. That would be cool.
Hell yeah. Let's get Master Chief and Mario teaming up in a game.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcast. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Christian, who will return next week, and Gage. No idea where you are, but we'll see you next week as well, maybe. I am Daniel. Yes, I hope you're okay as well. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and still quit firing people.
Enough is enough, please.